So, did you wake up already exhausted before the day has even started? Before you had your coffee? Before your feet hit the floor? This is for you. Not because you are doing too much, but because a significant portion of your energy is being spent somewhere that never gets counted. And once you see this, you will never unsee it again. Hey, I am Gina, the voice behind Regulated by Design and the Wreckage and the Work podcast. I'm a pattern authority and truth teller. I help people recognize when survival has become their identity. When your nervous system, your relationships, and your choices have all quietly organized around patterns, that no longer tell the truth about who you are. I use human design, astrology, and nervous system work to help you see what's actually been running you and who you are underneath it. If you're new here, welcome. I am really glad you found this. I want to start with something that happened this week. Like usual, my husband left to go out of town for work, and I noticed something in my body when he had left. There was this quiet, not empty quiet, but a relief quiet. Like my nervous system exhaled for the first time in days. And that honestly stopped me because, frankly, I love my husband, but my body exhaled when he left. What that told me is that I had been living in this emotional weather, or in his emotional weather, instead of my own. His mood had become the temperature of our home, and my nervous system had been tracking it. It had been scanning, anticipating, and managing it all before I ever got to myself. That is what we are talking about today. Living in someone else's emotional weather, what it is, what it costs you, and what starts to change when you finally see it clearly. Let me give this a name. Because when we name something, we stop being unconscious inside it. Living in someone else's emotional weather is a nervous system survival pattern. It is not a personality trait. It is not just who you are. It is something your nervous system learned to do in order to feel safe. Here is how it forms. At some point in your life, maybe early on in childhood, maybe not so early, maybe it's been in your adulthood, you learned that other people's emotional states were something you needed to track. Maybe someone's mood in your home was unpredictable. Maybe conflict felt dangerous. Maybe you were the one who kept the peace because no one else would. Whatever the origin of the pattern, your nervous system got a very clear message. It said, pay attention to what they are feeling before you pay attention to what you are feeling. Because what they are feeling determines what happens next. And so you became very good at reading the room. And in human design terms, if you have an undefined solar plexus center, you are literally designed to take in and amplify the emotional energy of the people around you. That is not a flaw, but without the right context, it becomes emotional weather you cannot distinguish from your own. And if you have a Sagittarius moon like I do, your nervous system regulates through movement and forward momentum, which means being emotionally stuck in someone else's patterns feels physically suffocating. The point is, this is not random. Your chart explains exactly why you are open to the specific pattern. And understanding that is the beginning of changing it. I want to be specific about the cost because I think we minimize it and then wonder why we feel so behind. When your nervous system is spending its energy tracking someone else's emotional state, scanning for the shift, anticipating the mood, adjusting yourself before conflict arrives, that energy is not available for anything else. Not your work, not your kids, not your creativity, not your healing, and not your business. You get what is left over. And there is no line item in your to do list for managed the morning mood, scanned the room 17 times before 9 a.m., adjusted my energy to avoid conflict, held my breath waiting to see how the day was going to go. But it costs you. Every single day it costs you. And this is why you can feel like you are doing everything and still feel like you are barely moving. Because a significant portion of your capacity is being drained before you ever get to what you actually want to build. Psychologically, chronic vigilance, vigilance lives in the body. It shows up as tension, as fatigue, as pain that does not have an obvious source, as a nervous system that cannot fully exhale because resting feels like a risk. For those of us with chronic illness, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions, this is not separate from the body. The chronic vigilance is part of what keeps the body in a state of inflammation and dysregulation. Your body is not broken, it's just overwhelmed. And honestly, that is a difference. This is where human design and astrology become genuinely useful. Not as a personality test, but as a map that shows you where the pattern lives in your specific wiring. A few things to look at in your chart. First, your undefined centers. Any center that is white on your human design chart is a place where you take in, amplify energy from others. The solar plexus center undefined means you absorb emotional energy from the people around you and can mistake it for your own. The will center undefined means your sense of worth fluctuates based on your environment, including the people closest to you. Second, your moon sign. Your moon sign tells you what your emotional body needs to feel safe. If your nervous system is constantly in someone else's weather, it cannot meet its own needs. A fire moon needs movement and expression. An earth moon means stability and routine. A water moon needs solitude and processing time. None of these things are available when your energy is fully occupied managing someone else. Third, your authority. Whatever your human authority is, whether it be sacral, emotional, splenic, it requires you to be present in your own body to access it. When you are living in someone's emotional weather, you are not in your own body, you are in theirs. And that means you are making decisions from their energy and not yours. So, this is why my blueprint readings matter. Not because the chart tells you everything, but because it shows you specifically where this pattern lives in your design and why it is formed the way it did for you. So, what actually changes this? Because I am not going to leave you with a problem and no direction. The first thing is not a strategy, it's not a conversation, it is not even a boundary yet. It is recognition. The moment you see clearly, without shame, without making yourself wrong for it, that what you have been doing is living in someone else's emotional weather as a survival response, something shifts. You start to notice when you are scanning. You start to catch the moment your energy moves outward to manage instead of staying inward to resource. And that noticing, that is the beginning. Practically, one thing you can start doing today is a psychological sigh. Before you start respond or before you respond to someone, before you walk into a room where you know the energy is heavy, before you make a decision that is going to cost you something, double inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. Do this 3 times. This is not a breathing exercise. This is directly activating your parasympathetic nervous system, and it brings you back into your own body, back into your own weather, back into your own knowing. It takes 30 seconds, and it changes what is available to you in that moment. The longer work understanding why your nervous system learned to do this in the first place, what it was protecting, what it believed about safety, and slowly, through awareness, through regulation, through understanding your own decision or your own design, teaching it that you are safe enough now to come home to yourself. That is the work. That is the wreckage and the work. If this resonated with you, if you felt something in your body while you were listening, I want you to know that feeling is information. It is your nervous system recognizing itself in what I am describing. And if you want to understand specifically where this pattern lives in your human design and astrology, why your nervous system learned to do it, what your chart says about how you are actually designed to move through the world, and what becomes possible when you stop organizing your life around someone else's emotional weather, the blueprint is for you. It is a personalized, recorded session where I look at your human design, your astrology, and your nervous system patterns together and show you what has actually been running you and who you are underneath it all. The link is in the description. There are currently 2 founder rate spots available at $97 before the price moves to $197. Subscribe if you want more of this. Leave a comment and tell me, does this pattern show up in your life? And I will see you in the next one.